Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Today we're going to cover realistic battle mod again. There have been a number of requests and the last episode apparently didn't satiate people, so we're going to give this another go. We have kind of a mixed army this time. I've gone to our two last remaining citadels and castles and got kind of an even mix of troops, so I don't want to have an overpowering army like we've had in the past. And so you can see some much lower level units than we're used to having, even some tier 1 and tier 2 troops, some militia. We're outnumbered significantly by this Sturgeon force that we're approaching, but nevertheless I think with tactics, a little specialization of units, we should be able to overcome them. Now we're using two other mods along with realistic battle mod for this battle. One of them is a mod called less damage, and what it does is fairly simple. It reduces damage to all characters, all units by 1/2, which makes for an exceptionally long battle, right, between realistic battle mods, armor adjustments, and this other mod called less damage. By the way, all the mods listed will be in the details below this video if you're interested in those mods. The other mod that we're using with this is a mod called battle size, that increases the number of total troops, including horses on the battlefield, to 2,000. That means that this is going to feel like a gigantic battle. You can already see I have something like 500 infantrymen for this battle. We've got, 170 archers, 500 infantrymen, 130 cavalry. It's going to be a gigantic scrum of a battle. Now I'm adjusting some of my units here. I'm going to specialize for this battle. Two things are going to be different from my normal battle layout, but I'm actually going to try to list everything for you sort of quickly. First, when I edit the video, I'll list it so you can pause if you really want to learn details. But the first is heavy infantry. That's going to be our center. The third is going to be shock troops. We're going to specialize that third division to be guys with pole arms, glaives, etc., and no shield. The fourth is going to be a crossbow division that we may use in squares and distractionary forces. The fifth is a standard archers group. The sixth is skirmishers, so this is guys with javelins. Most of them have shields, and we're going to use them on a flank typically. The seventh is horse archers, of course, and then the eighth division is our elite unit of high-ranked, high-level nobles and companions. Now what I'm planning on doing in this battle and most other battles is flanking the enemy. We're going to try to get at least a significant amount of forces on the enemy's right flank, our left flank. We'll overload that side and then try to squeeze in, crimp in on the enemy. I don't know how this is going to work with so many units. This is the first time trying this gigantic battle with so many different units on the field. It might be, well, I was going to say it might be chaotic. Let me rephrase. It will be chaotic. There's just going to be troops everywhere. I have one other mod that I'm sort of previewing here that I've played a couple battles with already, and I really like it for the atmosphere, and I believe it's called Immersive Battlefields. No matter what, I'll be sure to list it in the video description below. But what it does is it creates like war chants effectively. Your captains repeat orders in their own voices to you. So if you tell them to charge, cavalry, get ready to charge. You'll hear them yelling back there after I give them orders, right? Soldiers, spread out. The other component of it is that they yell and roar, and the din of battle is much louder when these guys are told to charge, right? Just like real battles, we presume, based on historical records. In the medieval era, when you're swinging your fucking battle axe at someone in a do or die, life or death situation, it's just primal. You would let out a battle cry, and of course it also helps intimidate the opponent. I think it's going to add a lot of immersion to a gigantic battle like this. So looking for a setup here. The enemy did attack us, so they're technically required to attack. If they don't, of course, we'll play the aggressor. And I like this little center line ridge here. I'm just sort of scouting the landscape. These little trees, man, they drive me crazy. a horse would just blow that tree right over. So we're going to use this little ridge here. We're going to place our infantry, and then we're going to have crossbow behind them. Archers tucked in over the corner here. And we're going to set the skirmishers, 8th Division, and the Cav up on that high ridge up there. We're outnumbered cavalry-wise, at least I think. I haven't actually, yeah, there's 156. We're way outnumbered in cavalry. And theoretically, that's a massive disadvantage, because if you don't know in Realistic Battle Mod, amongst the many different things that it changes, and of course, depending on what settings you use, the mod is highly customizable. One of the things that makes a dramatic change, though, for battles, for Bannerlord battles, is it dramatically strengthens the power of cavalry. I'm sure there were people who just felt it was ridiculous that a bunch of infantry and archers could just own a bunch of the medieval knights. Of course, the medieval knights were the elite battle unit for hundreds of years, but maybe they're also forgetting the Battle of Agincourt. As crossbows, as bows became more sophisticated, and then of course firearms, the knight really lost its standing in war. Nevertheless, Realistic Battle Mod certainly makes knights stronger. They knock guys over more. They do more charge damage. Here you can hear the guys charging. So I've got my 3rd Division here, my shock troops, right next to the skirmishers. The enemy's kind of bearing in 2 different angles on us. It's kind of strange. So we're going to back our shock troops up, move our skirmishers in, counter with the 8th and 3rd, and then those shock troops can follow in behind them. These archers are nicely protected back here. They have a mix. It's a strange army the enemy's fielding. This is also something new to me. I did not know it did this. There are units that do not normally have javelins in Bannerlord firing javelins. I've seen legionnaires and Manavlions throwing javelins. That's very interesting. I like that change. You're wondering why I'm doing this, of course. This is a very popular mod, but it's a big mod and it dramatically alters the game. And I think people are reticent. They're apprehensive, hesitant about loading this in as a mod before they begin a campaign. Maybe they're worried it's going to change combat a lot. Well, it's definitely going to change combat a lot. The question is whether or not it's better, and I think the jury is still out. There are some people who swear by it, and other people hate it. It probably has a lot to do with whether or not you like to play archer strategies. If you're an archer, if you like to use archers as one of your primary linchpins in battles, you're probably not going to like Realistic Battle Mod. Right in the head. Realistic Battle Mod significantly nerfs archers in this game. So I've got 2 strong lines holding well against the enemy here. I've got a reserve unit up there. That's the 8th. That's my elite units. I'm basically looking for either an opportunity or a need for that unit. I've got my crossbow, and our archers are very well protected. You can hear these guys roaring. I mean, tell me that's not sweet, fellas. Just roar! just fucking roaring. It's great. This is a crossbow unit here. I can square these guys right now because they're starting to get cav charges. That's one big advantage of having a crossbow specific unit. These guys have wrapped up the enemy here. These guys are now wrapping around the edges of the enemy. Now, depth of your infantry size matters a lot more, both in this battle size mod and Realistic Battle Mod. It's very important to have 2, 3, 4 units deep. I find that thin lines in Realistic Battle Mod do not work very well. You want to have relatively thick lines, at least 2 men deep. And it makes dramatic changes to the weapons as far as how the weapons strike. My axe literally sounds and swings differently than it does in normal vanilla. In fact, anybody who's a fan of the channel, anybody who's seen a bunch of our videos, is probably very perplexed at the sound and motion of our battle axe right now. It's very unusual. It's slower for sure. It does way less damage. It makes a different sound. It really is kind of apples and oranges. Now, another major change the realistic battle mod makes is to AI. Lots and lots of reforming of the enemy units. The unfortunate problem with that is that when it's reforming, these guys are basically dead meat to pursuers. I've got the 8th Corps and a Cav unit following, and we can literally just run down their units anytime we want. You see how far they're running. I'm just kind of scouting out the land here and looking for our next staging point. It's a beautiful setting with like mountains, snow-covered mountains. I don't know if I've ever played on this battlefield, which is crazy because I've played Sturgia twice. I've just never had a battle way up here by Revel.
Move! Infantry! Move!
Maybe I did and it was just snow and I don't recognize it.
Move!
So we're moving our archers up again with elevation. We're going to position them on a ridge here. We're going to have the skirmishers on this left flank and the main infantry in the center there. You see, the enemy has way more cavalry still than us. And now it's just, you know, I was kind of late to the game here, but anytime you want, you can just ride down their retreating units. It's rather unfortunate. It's a pretty big glaring negative mark for the AI for Bannerlord. Now the AI overall for Bannerlord, I would say, is improved from vanilla Bannerlord. You'll see a lot more counter charges. You'll see a lot more cav angular charges, right? They'll charge you from the side, from the rear. And I don't mean like cycle charging where it's 2 or 3 cavalry. I mean it looks like a concerted effort by the AI to get 80 or 100 cavalry behind your archers and ram it up your ass. Very effective, very much like what a human opponent would do. It moves the infantry around a little bit dynamically, although it seems like it can be confused pretty easily by multiple flanks. But overall, I would say it is a significant improvement as far as the intelligence level on vanilla Bannerlord. Now, I actually don't like it still, despite those improvements, because of how much it reforms. I like sort of pitched battles where the two sides slug it out in a non-stop chaotic battle. Of course, that's not realistic, right? Realistic battles throughout history, they were hours long sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes they were fast, but many of them were hours long as both sides sort of jockeyed for position. They would move tired units in and out. You know, they would literally alternate entire divisions of spearmen. Battles were slow. I mean, battles might take 4, 5, 6 hours. Nobody wants to sit through a 6-hour battle in Bannerlord. Incidentally, I'll give a little prop to this less damage mod. The maker of the mod actually has like 10 different mods you can download that are all the same thing. They're just varying different levels of damage, all the way down to 1/10 damage, which would be a 6-hour battle. And he even leaves a little warning basically saying, be fair warned, your fingers may wear out before your troops do. I mean, it would literally take, like a battle like this might take 5 or 6 hours. You hear the enemy roaring. I mean, this mod's a keeper for sure. This immersive battlefield noise. It's pretty great. So we made a strong line here, and I've got shock troops and crossbow right behind. Now we're going to attack this cavalry. That was not their smartest charge, and it's going to result in a massacre. They're all bound up now. They're getting fucking pummeled with spears, shot with arrows. They got obliterated there. Frontal charges, never a good idea. We're going to take advantage of that, charge with both of our wings here. Now we're going to have to make tactical, this flank is overrunning our side here. I'm going to try to pull units down here. This is one thing that's really nice. This doesn't happen in regular Bannerlord, vanilla Bannerlord. There's not enough time for you to make flank adjustments like this. In this battle here, I'm bringing troops around to our right flank, both to flank the enemy and also to strengthen this flank because the enemy's starting to creep around the side. We don't want to get our flank turned. We want to turn the flank on the enemy. Meanwhile, the 1st Infantry's been told to charge in shield wall. That means they're coming down on these archers and hopefully not taking too many arrows while they do so. You see this side over here, I'm trying to pull units over. I've got this cav division with archers, And we're just going to drive it and wrap it right around this infantry line here. Just fucking envelop these guys. Watch this shit. That is a vicious flank turn right there. I mean, they got eaten alive like a sea serpent. I thought I told those infantrymen to charge. Maybe they want a raise or something like that. They're not doing what I told them to. Again, the enemy's reforming here much too soon, right? And there's another change. I drilled that guy, absolutely mauled him with the fucking javelin, and it didn't hardly do any damage to him. The damage, of course, we're playing with a mod that intentionally reduces damage. It's really strange damage. I'm doing 500 damage to guys sometimes, you know, and then you'll hit them right in the back with your battle axe, and it'll do like 20. You know, sometimes it's hard to understand exactly how the mod works. Of course, in real life, a man on a horse running 30 miles an hour, swinging a big, brutal war axe at you with a high level of skill, it would be curtains. Maybe if you were in like really good armor, then you would only be, you know, disabled on the ground in agony. But anything but plate armor and you would be destroyed. That would be the end of your life. Axe would probably come out the sternum. I'm a firefighter. I've seen some car accidents. That's probably what it would resemble. The people who get stuck in their vehicle, they basically get jostled around, banged around on different stuff. Oftentimes, of course, their bones are broken, their stomachs are mush. That's what would happen if you got hit by an axe by a guy on a horse at 30 miles an hour. There would be pieces of you. Starting to get the feel of it. I like the realism of horses being vulnerable. Oh, you look like the enemy, dude. My apologies. Need a horse. Every horse I hit is dying. Oh, that's a byproduct of the mod, incidentally. The Battleside mod, and I've noticed this recently. I love when horses fly. If you're playing with the maximum size troops, and you kill a guy that's on a horse, how it works is his horse automatically dies because it doesn't want to have a whole bunch of horses on the battlefield and no units. So if there were 500 horses and you killed those riders without killing the horses, suddenly you would have just 500 horses taking up unit slots. And I think the creator of the mod realized that would be a very bad result. So again, we're charging with the center. We've got a very nice protected pocket here. It's archers and crossbowmen, and they're just kind of raining arrows down. The center is just a huge fucking wave over there. Look at how big it is. It's like, I don't know, fucking 400 and something men. It's consolidated a lot of our reinforcements right into that first infantry. So we're just going to keep charging with it. I mean, a group of men that big, there's not much to do other than just to charge. The enemy's splitting into our two different divisions here, and I've got this cav unit here. I can just drive right through the enemy. I like to physically drive cavalry right through the enemy sometime, and just right up the backs of these guys here, right? You can just have this cav go exactly where you tell it to. As soon as they're close, you tell them to charge. And theoretically, they're coming kind of slow. Theoretically, those cavalry are going to just pile drive the side of the enemy there. The 6 skirmishers are holding on pretty well here in the center, or on the left flank rather, and they're also protecting the archers. Our archers have really been firing at will most of the battle. Look at how long these javelins are. I don't know. That's strange. I got gigantic long javelins. Sometimes I like to do realistic battle mod just because it changes things, right? If you play as much Bannerlord as I play, you know, that's one of the beautiful things of all these mods. You can totally give the game a refreshed feel. They're beautifully created, many of them. You can download them in 5 or 10 minutes, and you're playing almost a new game. Like this feels, the combat is so foreign to me right now, I almost feel like I'm playing Bannerlord 3. Now, it is compatible still with dismemberment mod. I just turned the settings way down. I wasn't sure how my computer was going to like so many units on the battlefield at the same time, running at 4K. and also had heads flying all over the place. So I just turned the settings way down. I'm surprised there hasn't been a beheading yet. I know it is compatible though, so if you like that mod, if you like the gore, you can still use it with Realistic Battle mod. So it's kind of broken down to a chaotic scrum. We are winning the battle, but remember they had like 900 or 1,000 more troops than us. So it's going to be difficult to finish them off here. This is not going to be, they have lots of cabs still. We probably have 40 or 50 cav, and it looks like they have 150. Okay, these are archers here. We can stretch these guys out on our right flank, the enemy's left flank. Those look like reinforcement archers. What group are those? Can't tell. Oh, these guys are the 5th Division. Okay, the 5th Division is reinforcement archers, and that's timely. We need some guys with ammunition here. Meanwhile, we're just going to push these giant walls of troops right into the enemy. I'm going to join them. The battle's close enough that my men clearly need beast mode axe in the battle here. We're going to try to go to work. Like to keep turning the enemy's flank here. Anytime you can turn a flank on the enemy, it's devastatingly powerful. So we're going to stretch cav around again on the enemy's left. We're going to plow our way through here. Look how slow my axe swings too. It definitely makes me feel very mortal playing this mod. With 330 athletics and 332 hand skill, my regular campaign, my player character certainly feels like a hero sometimes, like a superhero motherfucker. I mean, he's still wrecking shop in realistic battle mode, but nothing like vanilla Bannerlord. I mean, there are battles where my guy kills 300 or 400 people, and that's with normal player damage. All right, that cav charge was destructive. Now we can just go along here and try to finish off some of these guys. These guys want to rout. You can tell from their behavior. I've got archers stretching out here also on the enemy's left flank. Those guys are going to be able to get enfilade fire. But the enemy has a big long bank of archers kind of right in front of them. So we're sort of skirmishing there. They're shooting us and we're shooting back. You can see the guys get knocked around by cavalry. Cavalry do way more damage and are just way more potent than Bannerlord, which is realistic, right? If you want to play a realistic game, that's what we're talking about here. Of course, I wouldn't be able to take the 20 axe and sword swings that I'm taking. Now, there are other elements of Bannerlord, or excuse me, of realistic battle mod that I've tried a handful of times and I can't stand. I just don't like them at all. There's the posture system. You can use effectively hits knock people to the ground a lot more. Your hits have like inertia. All of my units are just jammed into one division here. This is not the greatest setup. Oh shit! Face hit received 69 pierce damage. Well, that's realistic, I guess. You get shot in the face with an arrow. I mean, the truth is, of course, is shot in the face with an arrow, you're out of the battle. I mean, I guess he is wearing armor, so theoretically it's just a glancing blow. I love the roaring. I mean, these guys roaring as they enter battle is fucking great. With some good music in the background, the roaring, it feels like a fucking epic battle. Starting to get the hang of this a little bit. It does feel like a totally different game compared to vanilla Bannerlord, but I'm starting to get the feel for what this guy's two-handed weapon does. His glaive is not as strong. I'm stealing that guy's horse. It's one of my noble units. I like to steal a horse sometimes. Tell him to come to me and then dismount. My glaive is not as powerful, of course, as vanilla Bannerlord either. It's still pretty lethal, but it's not doing, you know, the 300, 200 damage that it does in vanilla Bannerlord. Let's play with the axe some more, though. starting to get a feel for it. It's kind of fun. This battle is over. We have infantry on bearing in on 2 fronts on this big archer tranche. We're going to come in here with our battle axe, see if we can't sharpen our skills a little bit here in RBM. Seems like he does more damage and gets more kills swinging down, which of course you hit a guy on the top of the head with an axe, especially these unarmored guys. That would be it. It would only take once. The jump swing. They're still trying to shoot. This is suboptimal AI. These guys they're face to face with men with an axe, and they're still drawing their bow. These guys should be running or pulling out their melee weapon. But again, developing and designing an AI for such a complicated game with 1,000 units on the battlefield, 2,000 in this battle. I mean, it's an immense challenge. And I think RBM, you know, the last episode I said I don't think I would recommend it. I think I am going to recommend it if you prefer slower, more methodical battles. Now, you could just do regular Bannerlord with this reduced player damage. In fact, I may experiment and do a few regular vanilla Bannerlord battles with like 25% damage. Just kind of see what it feels like. But this has been pretty enjoyable. There's been tactical use. We've been able to turn flanks repeatedly. We've been able to use cav. We've been able to do the hammer and anvil. Look at their units are faster than me, even though I have 330 athletics. And they just run away from me like I'm wearing lead boots. But ultimately, you know, again, if I was grading this mod, I would say it's excellent. It's highly versatile. There's a ton of different options you can use. So one of the nice things to do about or with RBM is you can download it, and then if you only like one setting, for example, you can use that one setting. You don't have to use the weapons. It specializes weapons, and it changes I think it changes the unit trees, or at least it did a long time ago. There's all kinds of different options with it. You can use the posture system if you like that, where it's guys are getting knocked to the ground by somebody swinging a big pole at you. I mean, that's what would happen, of course. Anyways, I'm going to give it, you know, a good rating. I guess if I was grading it classroom style, I'll give it a B. It's a solid B, and it might improve down the road as they continue to make improvements. If you like slower battles, if you like more realism, I will give it a heartily recommendation for your campaign. Of course, it's save game friendly. This is the middle of a campaign, and I just whipped it out for this battle. And overall, it's pretty stable. Not too many crashes. So. Thanks for watching this episode, friends. Hopefully you enjoy some battles out there, whether it's realistic battle mode or not. And I will talk to you, friends, next time.